Hey everybody, welcome. It's Ryan the Game Show Guy again here, back with you with your next tutorial walkthrough of a super fun game. The game been around for a long time, like a lot of these ones have. This game is an amazing one because I think it's one of the best in terms of getting the team to play together as a team. A lot of the games that I have, I like to be able to have it as teams, but then the individual gets to compete. Like I'll put them in teams in Jeopardy, but then one kid's guessing and they go back to their team. This one, it's straight. We're putting ourselves together as a team, as a family. Folks, this is Family Feud. Yes, hey, yeah, it's Family Feud. God, this one's been around forever. It's been on, it's been off. It's been a lot of iterations from the original one, from Richard Dawson and all the way up to Steve Harvey today. It's the one game that I was this close to getting on. I was almost on Family Feud. Yes. It was one of those times comes and going, Louis Anderson and all that sort of stuff. We ultimately got on another game, and I may share that in the future. And I won a trip to Mexico. So, hey, I didn't get on the Feud, but I sure love me some Feud. So like I was mentioning before, this game is fantastic because it really allows your team to collaborate and get together. And then the biggest difference on all of the games that I have compared to this one is it's the answers. The Jeopardy style is I give a question, you give an answer. My pyramid game is I give the answer term, and the kids have to give the definitions and the words. So I like that flip. This one's different in terms of this. I give a question, but it's not one answer or two answers or three. This is a ranking game, a game in which that you want kids to be able to, your students to be able to, they should know the topic that you're mentioning and be able to have some thoughts about it. Like, what were the components of this, the causes of this, what makes up, there's many parts that make up something of a whole. So it's fun, but I will tell you this, it's a little bit different in terms of making the questions. So, like, you're not just going to, this isn't one where I just run to Quizlet or I open up the back of my study guide and I'm like, okay, what am I going to put the definitions? Like, so my pyramid and Frazzle game is fantastic. You just go to your study guide and you just do person, term, vocabulary, or whatever. This is, I need to find something with multiple answers. So with that being said, you're going to have to spend some time really thinking about the kinds of questions that you're doing. And like all of my games, I really think this one does allow yourself to throw some fun stuff in there. So it could be like content, fun one, content, fun one. And then the other thing too about this one is like a lot of my games, Jeopardy and my basketball one, Beat the Buzzer and Tic-Tac-Toe and all these other games, you need lots of questions. This one, you don't need a whole lot of questions on this. These are questions, the questions you're going to have with multiple answers. And I would think you're probably going to want around, in a normal classroom, I think want to go 30 to 45 minutes. I'd probably come up with about 5 or 6. It's about all that you really, really kind of need for this thing. So, anyway, well, let's jump into it. The other big difference that you're going to be able to do here is this is a game where if you watch the television game, like so many of the games, they're just inspired by them. They got the sights and the sounds and some of the gameplay, but the gameplay doesn't really fit itself into what I have here, into my classroom, which is I want my number one thing is I want lots of kids participating, have the opportunity to participate. I don't want to single out anybody if that they don't feel like they want to be able to play, but I need to get more participation. I think I shared with this before. I don't want to have the who wants to be a millionaire syndrome. The idea of one kid playing, 34 watching, and those 34 don't really have much of an investment in this. So how can I be able to flip that? So in here, one of the biggest issues is it's two families. Well, I got a class I'm in the 30s. So that means it's going to be 2 teams of 15. That's too big. Now, some of my other games have 2 teams, and there's ways to get around that one. This one, I simply put them into 3 teams, and it works relatively well that way. So let's jump into that. This game is only available in PowerPoint. Because of the interactivity of if somebody says, oh, hey, I think, what's the best type of ice cream? And I'm going to go Rocky Road. Well, Rocky Road, I need to be able to go to here because it's number 5, it's not number 1. And there's got to be links and hyperlinks and jumping back and things disappearing. So I've really spent a lot of time formatting this game, and you don't need to, which is wonderful. But it is, unfortunately, only can be done within PowerPoint. You don't need to run anything else. It's all just within the animation. I really wish it could be done in Google Slides. One of these days, fingers crossed, if Google Slides folks are listening, we need some updates over there. Okay, let's jump into the game here so you can see here. Like a lot of my games, you just when you get in there, I have a place where it says Classroom Edition, and you can change this to whatever you want. Let's say if I did 10th grade ELA or fifth grade science or whatever you're ultimately going to do. So I edit my game and sort of, let me show you what it looks like when I put it into slideshow mode. Like all of my games, we got music sound effects that makes it fun. Do. God, the music's so many. I don't know what it is. Have I heard it so much, or there's something about these jingles? Hey, everybody, we're playing ourselves to Feud. And again, you really act it up, ham it up. Also, remember, try to be able to tell the kids there's times when I need you. So it's one of the tough parts of playing game shows is I need excitement, but I also got to be able to do directions and bring yourself back. The more that you play them, the more you'll get comfortable with your changing of roles. All right, so now I got the teams broken up, and I'm going to explain the way that I run the game different from the television show, but let me show you the essence of the PowerPoint here. So I have 3 teams. Then I have one person from each team come up for the fast finger question. And so this one, if you can see here, like in the normal game where they face off at each other and they hit the plunger. This one I'm just going to do who can put their hand up the fastest, and I'm going to have the 3 of them facing me. And then the question comes up with the sound effect, and I got to be able to watch. So that's why I really recommend have yourself a clicker so that I could be aware of them not necessarily looking back at the screen, or have a student helper doing it. The last thing you want to be able to do is looking up here and then you lost who it was. So I'm looking up here and then I click. And hey, tell me, everybody, what is and here's where you'd write the fast finger question. What's the most popular flavor of ice cream in the United States? First hand comes up. Hey, nice job. And it is vanilla, right? Okay. So whoever gets, I let them, the first kid get the first opportunity. Second hand will have the second chance to be able to say something. The third, whoever gets the correct answer, their team is then going to be in control. The other 2 will then go back to their teams. And when they're back in their teams, I'll explain that in a second. So that's the fast finger, the warm-up question. Unlike this is the difference. Unlike the TV show, I don't make this question the same that they were going to play. I'll make them thematically the same. Let's say if I'm going to be doing something about rocks, I'll have a rock question, but then I'll have a separate question here. You following me on that? So like, watch here. Then I don't have an answer, but this is just an example. This is where then it will ultimately show up. Okay. And the way in which that the board works that I was mentioning before, the hyperlinking and the sound effects and action set settings. You don't need to touch them all, but let me demonstrate it, what it looks like. Basically, if I click on the number 5 anywhere on the box, number 5, then the answer comes up and is a reveal, and there's a sound effects. I want the number 2 answer. Just click on number 2 and it comes up. If I click anywhere on the screen, nothing happens. I've disabled that. You cannot accidentally move forward. The only way that you always could in PowerPoint, PowerPoint, I'm trying to lift it up here, is, whoops. Oh, yeah. Anyway, I'm just going to show you my keyboard. But if you hit the forward button on your keyboard, you can always manually go forward. But I've disabled the click or whatever. Now, I also have 3 X's on the bottom to keep track of them. If somebody says the wrong thing, tutti frutti or whatever, I just have my helper click the first X. Sound effect comes up, and then the X changes so that I can now see we can keep track of how many wrong answers there were. X1, X2, and then the way to be able to move to the next one once we're completely finished is you would click on the green button to move yourself forward. And that, in essence, is it. Okay, how that's done. Let me jump in here and show you how to be able to do these. Well, when I've come up with my question, I will simply go here. Here's the same board that we just did. Here I would write is most popular ice cream flavors. Okay, and then then I just write them in here. So if here's number 1, I just go in there, highlight number 1, and I type in vanilla, and then I type in. So I'm going with all my personal. This is all. Of course, you make it. You should have some rational and reasoning for yours, right? Bo sherbet, whatever. You can put your stuff in there. If they're too big, you can reduce the size of them and all that. So now let me jump back out there and show you what it looks like. Name a popular flavor of ice cream. And there's your number 1 answer. Your number 1 answer shows up and it goes right there. If I click on number 3, shows up right there. So that's kind of, in essence, it is. How do these things all work? Well, don't worry about it. I've animated it in which that there's tons of layers. So let me go over here and show you number 8. Let's say if I only came up with 6. let's say five ones. I don't want to use all 8. I wanted to give you the opportunity to have 8. Most of your questions will not have 8. Don't think that you have to come up with 8. You could literally have 3. But I put 8 on there. If you're not going to use them, you delete them. But let me show you how they layer. So if I click on the number 8, then I hit delete. Oh, look at that. I've layered it that the actual number 8 is behind it. But when I do the slideshow, it's all done with the whatever, but I need to delete both of them and delete. So I could do here, click on 1. I'm just going to hold the shift button. Watch this. Then I'm going to click on number 6, number 5. I've highlighted multiple ones of them and delete. That's it. Or I could simply drag an invisible box around the ones I don't want, highlight multiple ones and delete. And now when I go back into here, you can see they're there, and there's just my 4 options. That's a fantastic way to customize it to however many that you want. I want 4. I want 3. Okay, shouldn't have less than 3. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But you follow me, and then yippee, X1, X2. That's the game. Then the rest of it, just follow my rules or make them up. But the game is built to have as many of these as you want. You can copy and paste more of them if you want to have more slides and that kind of stuff. In essence, that's it. So, let me show you some examples. Some that I have here. I just put a couple of these notes in on the corner for me so I can say, hey, here's my earth science example, right? Question comes up. What's a large ancient landmass that was composed of all continents joined together, and Pangea or whatever comes up. And then, hey, look at that. Now I only have 5 on there. See here, the question now is going to be related. They're both earth science questions, but they're not the same thing. So, all right, everybody, remember we learned about the processes of the water cycle. So now, let's see your answers. I'm going to pause now here, and I'm going to tell you about how I designed these teams. So I got my class divided up into 3 teams. The team that got this question right first, I'm going to have them go back to their team, and I'm going to join their team, and I am now going to go, this is like the television game, one person at a time. After the person who guessed the correct question, I'm going to find some serpentine or whatever and say, hey, this is the path that I'm going to go. I'm going to go you, and guess, get it correct or get an X, and I'm going to follow exactly like the television game works. Once they get to 3 X's, then they're done. Okay, so that's the same way. The difference is the other 2 teams. So if I got my middle team playing, then my other 2 teams over here, here's the difference. Normally they huddle all together and they whisper about the answers because all the points are going to go to, in the television game, to some bank, and then whoever gets it gets all of them. I do mine differently, is that the team that is in control, however many that they guess, they get to keep those points no matter what. Whatever ones that they don't get is going to be left on the table for the other 2 teams to both steal. And this is how they steal. Each team will have a whiteboard. Where's my handy dandy whiteboards? I don't have one. Pretend here my folder's one of them. It looks like one. Okay, so I lost on the fast finger question. Hey, go to your groups, everybody, because the other team's in control. What are the processes of the water cycle? Then the team and I get around. One person's got a pen, and we're whispering. We're writing them down, every single thing that we can. There is no wrong answers because they are just making a master list of everything that they can be able to get. Whatever ones that they don't get, both teams can get the ones that were left on the table, kind of a thing. That you follow me? All right, so let's go. Okay, let's say, hey, we're going to go through the game, and the first person goes, so transpiration. That was the number 2 answer. Next kid goes, I get it straight. Next kid, hey, number 3 answer is condensation. Good job. The next student, you're right. Evaporation's the number 1 answer. You still got only 1 strike. All right, Tommy, you're next. Tommy, he says earthquakes. Wrong answer. All right. And what about next kid? No answer. All right. Now we've gotten all 3 strikes. So the team that was in control, they get all those points. And I have up on the scorekeeper on the whiteboard, like I always do, the master board, is I have one of my helpers over there, and she's giving that team 40 plus 35 plus 30. That is what they've won, and they cannot lose it. Now I go back to the teams who have been quietly writing their stuff down. I'm like, that's it, everybody. You got in the last 15 seconds. Write down any last thoughts. Quietly, hush, they're writing. All right, pens down. Now show me their boards, and they hold up their boards. Then I'm going to go from the lowest answer to the highest and go, all right, what do we have for the number 5 answer? Runoff. Who had runoff? And they'll go, we had it right here. Nice job. So then the scorekeeper will go over there and give whatever team that had runoff, give them 20 points. And the number 4 answer was precipitation. Oh, only one of the teams got precipitation, so add another 25 to them. That's my score. I got to be honest, folks. It just flows super well. It most of my games are relatively balanced. Unlike the regular show, Family Feud, they're kind of blowouts the way they do their scoring, and ultimately it'll come down to the final one. Literally, almost all the games come down to the final one because they do triple the amount of points and all that. This way is much different. Is that they're all kind of battling and they all have chances. What's a really tough one is if the team that's in control doesn't get very many. Now it's up on, so it's not necessarily the speed thing. If they can't get any, now the other teams are just going to gobble them up because they can be quiet and they got a team of about 8 or so. 10 kids. They're going to, and if you get a class of 30, that's 10 kids per team, and they're going to definitely be able to get a lot of those points up. And that in essence is the game. So you can see here, you do here's a social studies example, World War I, what new invented, whatever. You go the tank. And then you go to here. Here's an interesting thing for a teacher. You think you know your stuff. I know. I taught social studies. I know world history. I know my stuff. You know what you're not going to know? You're not going to know the answers. You're like, I know the main causes. Do you know the order of the answers? The answer is no. You will forget. So, folks, I cannot emphasize enough. I do this all the time. I've gotten so much better at it, but you got to do this. You need to have a key because I got to know where precipitation is. I got to know where runoff and condensation. Is it the number 4 answer, number 5 answer? And the worst thing is when you do this, oh gosh, I have to see it and it's up on the screen. Everybody put your heads down and you got to get out of it. It's a mess. So the answer is you print them out ahead of time or simply do this. Just get out your phone, right? And then you go here before the game starts and then you just take a picture and you can have your phone right next to you if you want, so that you need to be able to have the answers. Oh, also, more importantly than you, the kid who is running the computer, who's on the mouse, they're the ones who have fun. And you can say, hey, all right. And Jennifer, what precipitation is it on it? And she's going to be number 1 answer. So she needs the answer key on this thing. For me, I write them down on the bottom. Sorry, on these ones, I write them down on the bottom just for me in the future of the fast finger questions. The answers here are already here. And that in essence is it, folks. It's a lot of fun. There is the finale, kind of like some of my other games. I do or don't sometimes do the finale. The way I do this one is unlike the show where only the winning team gets to play. I let everybody play. I'll be honest with you. Lately, I'm not even playing the finale. I just do the Family Feud games themselves. When I used to do it, I would do it this way. I would have them do sort of a relay race kind of a thing. Whoever can do it in the fastest time, 100 points, 75 and 50 points. And we just put this thing up here and this animated to come up at a time. And the kids have to do a relay race. And if they all pass, they can't get them. Like one kid has to get it. If they can't get it, the next can get it. If they all can't, they do pass. I do the same sort of thing when I play my pyramid and frazzle game. Is basically the same thing kind of thing. And then you will have to have a secondary timer on a phone or something like that. And whoever can do it in the fastest amount of time and do like a 5-second penalty if the whole group of them can't get it. Anyway, I would just skip it, to be honest with you, because it's so much fun just doing these sort of things. The last thing I wanted to change is I just put random numbers in here, 40, 35, and it all equals to 100. They're made up numbers. If you want to, you can change them, particularly like if I'm getting rid of some of them, you know what I mean? Like if I'm doing here, it doesn't equal to 100. So I could be able to, I want to make this one. We definitely should have known that militarism was a high one and assassination actually wasn't very much. And I can make that just, right, make it whatever number that you want. It doesn't even matter if they add up to 100. Nobody's even keeping track during the game, but you can make them look a little bit more kind of a thing. The last thing I'm going to recommend is this, which is the, is this the right one? No, this is literary devices if you're doing English like that. But I would have fun ones. I would like to do 2 and then one that has nothing to do. 2 for my content, 1 without. 2 with my content, 1 without. So like here's 1 without. If we play in the game in the fall, I like to do this. Hey, what day of the week is Thanksgiving? Always. Oh, we got some fast hands. Thursday is right. Team 2, you guys are in control. All right, here we go. And name a common Thanksgiving food. All right. Stacy, you're number 1. Turkey, of course. All right. Hey, number stuffing and green beans, mashed potato, right? And have a fun one. You can make these up, sort of a thing. There is tons of places you can be able to find your own Family Feud questions. Go online. I forgot where I had it. I got a whole deck of cards that are Family Feud kind of related questions. Be careful of the television show. I'll be honest with you. If you're going to want to be able to, some of the kids, for so many game shows nowadays, kids don't really watch game shows. A lot of families aren't necessarily putting them up as the good old traditional family. Let's all watch them together. I'm more and more finding kids are unaware of the gameplay of Price is Right and these common ones. Like for me, I remember as a child, if every day I was sick, like there's nothing, I'm going to be at home and I'm going to watch Price is Right as when I was homesick. And nowadays that's not the case. So they may not know so much. So this is the heads up. If you're going to decide to play Family Feud with Steve Harvey, it's hilarious. You're going to have a lot of inappropriate questions and answers. So I would, be careful of what you want to be able to show. There's so much that is on YouTube that's out there. So you can, for a lot of these games, if you wanted to show ahead of time, just prepare your clip so you don't get any naughty. You follow me, that kind of stuff. Have some fun once it's one, folks. It's Family Feud. It's tons of fun. You're going to have a lot of fun. And that's it. That's what I was going to say. Oh, that's right. As always, please, I want to see your comments. If you play the games and you're having a lot of fun with them, you can subscribe. I just started there. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram. Check out all my games and more on Teachers Pay Teachers. Plus, if you got interest, I want to be able to see a game. I want to be able to have somebody, can you make one for me? I'm currently working on a Battleship game because somebody reached out and said they'd love to be able to play some Battleship. So if you got some ideas and thoughts, I'd love to hear from you. Folks, this has been Family Feud, and I am Ryan, the game show guy. Thanks for checking us out.